the teachers have the following understanding of a teaching process. They believe that teaching is to stimulate the thinking of children. They believe teaching is to help the children to express their own fantastic ideas. And teaching is to allow the children to inspire each other. They believe that the process of teaching is a process of understanding the children better, because they allow the children to express themselves during the process. The process of teaching is a process for teachers to listen. So for teachers, this is really a very big challenge, because emergent curriculum are usually happening on the site. When the play is completed, is finished, then the teachers will have to start the sharing. Sorry, I probably forgot something in previous slide. Actually, when the teachers look at the children, their observation will have to be very, very close. The teachers will have to stand alone and observe. I actually asked the teacher, "What did you observe?" And every teacher told me that they are studying the behaviors and actions of the children. Through this kind of observation process, the teachers become the master of observing. So every time when the children finish the play and when they draw the schematics, the children share their stories of play, then the teachers will also get engaged in the sharing with the children. In every class, you will see this kind of process. They will ask children what happened, and they help the children and they guided the children to reflect on their play. This is actually a very challenging process for the teachers. The process of teaching is also a process for teachers to learn from children. When they listened to the expressions and descriptions of the children's play, and when they listened to the analysis of children's about their problems, then the teachers came to understand how the children understand the problems. So in the past, the teachers in China are very scared of emergent curriculum, but now they are not afraid anymore, because they realize the purpose of teaching is not to transfer the knowledge, but to teach the children how to learn. So their focus is on listening, and they allow the children to raise the questions and express their analysis of the problems. They will allow the children to share their thinkings, their hypotheses, and their validation process, as well as their understanding of a causal relationship and the relationship between different objects, and the children's methods of solving the problems. I was very surprised by their achievements. Sorry, we can't hear clearly. So let's just skip the video. When the children talked about the materials they use, they talked about how many bricks they use. You know that they have already gone beyond the teaching objectives we have set before. But you can see that the children are now capable of picking the items after counting them according to the number. They can then calculate how many bricks are required for the first layer, second layer, and the third layer. And some children can even calculate how many bricks are required for 2 layers. All these things the teachers didn't teach them. However, the children are now capable of calculating at such a high level. And also, the teachers wouldn't really care whether the results of the calculation is correct or not. What they cared more is how many methods the children use to calculate all these bricks. So when we observe the process, we may not understand why the teachers allow the children talk all the time. This is their purpose. They are not worried about whether the children have a balanced learning in all the different subjects. In the past, what we pursue is that the children need to have balanced development or balanced improvement in different subjects. However, that's not the true balance. That's actually only talking about average shares of learning. Because now in the play, the children will talk about balancing, how many bricks will be required to balance the bridge. And then they learn the math in the process. During the sharing process, the children learn how to express themselves. They use the metaphor. I remembered that one day the children talk about a play. And then they talk about the swing and how can they actually fix the plate or the board on the swing, or how can they actually twist the rope so that you can swing higher. And some of them was saying that if you twist it tighter, then it would be like you push a trolley up hills. And they also say it will be like blowing the balloon. And when you blow the balloon, it will become bigger and bigger. And then when you stop blowing, then the balloon will just lose all its air. So they use so many metaphors to describe all these phenomena they observed. They use a lot of different terms. And then the teachers will guide them to express themselves more clearly. So every time when you have reflection, it's a linguistic learning, it's a language learning. So the teachers now have an integrated approach in teaching and learning. They are not worried about this kind of subject-based teaching anymore, because the emergent curriculum happen on the side. And for sure, there are going to be some problems. Through the retrospective reflection, they also reflect on their teaching. So every time after one day, the teachers will now actually write the retrospective teaching plan. In this kind of process, they reflect on the issues and the questions they raised during the reflection. What kind of question will arouse the interest of the children, and what question doesn't attract the children at all? How many answers have been provided by the children or have been offered by children? The teachers will also record their own teaching process and sharing process. For example, when the teacher raised the question about a black hole, then they may find that the students could offer several answers, and they also reached several conclusions about the causal relationship. For example, whether we can get through the black hole successfully may be related to the length of the plate. Whether we can go through the hole can be related to the speed of the tires, can be related to the slope of the plate and the forces we push the plate. All these causal relationships were offered by the children. The teachers, of course, may understand what kind of a causal relationship are correct, but they wouldn't really comment on the spot. And the teachers also get more sophisticated in this kind of emergent teaching, emergent curriculum. I find that the growth of our teaching staff in anti-play doesn't come from the training, the traditional training based on theories. This kind of growth actually comes from their new discovery of the new children, the new image in their mind about children, and their new understanding of the pedagogy and the teaching approach. So this is actually a process of being aware of their identity as a teacher and their happiness, their professional or occupational happiness are stronger, so they are more satisfied about their profession because they understand better the value of their work. So I think this is not just a growing process of our children. This is also a growing process for our teachers. That's all I want to share. Thank you.